Justice for Imole, justice for Mohbad. My people, finally, justice e don dey come small small. And on daily basis, people wey matter for the society, dey come out, come put mouth for inside this matter. And like this, so for inside this very update, our popular Nigerian journalist, Kemi Olunloyo, she don come out to say she wan do documentary about Mohbad. Say and she wan hear from Papa Mohbad so that she go add one or two to the investigation. Guys, the prayer be say may God help as she dey do this documentary. May God bring about this justice for Mohbad through that process. Because all we seek for, all we ask for is nothing but justice for Mohbad. And whoever we go bring about this justice, God will bring the person safely, and God will give the person the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to know how to go about this justice. Guys, make I not take much of una time. Make we gather hear from our one and only investigative journalist and barrister Kemi Olunloyo as she take talk am and how she take ask for the contact of Papa Mohbad. Say anybody wey get the contact make dem help her with am o. Say she need to talk to am one on live conversation. So guys, make we gather hear from her live and direct. But before then, make una no forget to share this video. Make una share am, make people wey no know what's up, make dem come know talk say like play. People wey matter, they don dey carry the matter for head like gala. Make una no forget, I still remember una humble girl Rekis. Na me dey bring una latest ogbonge tori. If you never subscribe to this channel, wetin you gain? Subscribe, click on the notification bell so that they go notify you galang anytime we drop tori like this. Make we gather hear from her live and direct, guys.
Hello, I'm retired Nigerian journalist Kemi Olunloyo, Dr. Kemi. A few days ago, I did a video with regards to me going to the international media to talk about Mohbad. And the reason why you have to do these things is because you cannot forget the faces of the dead. They must always remain in the news. I am retired, 30 years of work, and I stopped working the day I started working, February 9th, 1994. So February 9th, 2024, I retired. But this case is my case, and I'm doing documentaries and docuseries about some of my cases. And when I say some of my cases, for example, the Hush Puppy Woodbury case was my case. I broke the story, I followed through, and I gave you all the updates. So I'm going to do documentaries and docuseries on those cases. Mohbad's case was my very last investigative story. And it's very complicated because too much came out of this story and too many distractions from the family members. So what I want to do, because the docuseries itself is in English so that the world can hear it, is anything Mohbad now, I'm just going to do it in English, maybe Yoruba English, but I want everybody to understand what's going on. At this time, it is Saturday, the 18th of May, 2024. At this time, what we have is arguments back and forth still on social media. Imagine if there was no social media. We wouldn't hear all these people fighting between themselves. Mohbad's father, okay, if you know Mr. Aloba, Mohbad's father, I want to interview him. Okay, it took me a lot to make this decision. If you have the information from Mohbad's father, Joseph Aloba, could you send it to me? You can email me. My email is on my Facebook profile, kemiolunloyo444@gmail.com. Okay, kemiolunloyo444@gmail.com. You can send it to me in my DM on Twitter, X. You can also inbox me on Facebook, or you can send it to me in the messaging here on TikTok. I need the phone number of Joseph Aloba. I need to get in touch with him. I want to do an interview with him. And I want to do this interview preferably on Facebook Live where I can bring him in. And I want to ask some specific questions. The man has gone around the media a lot. I usually don't like to insert myself into the stories, and I usually don't like to interview one party without the other. Why? Because because I'm investigating all of them. Mother, father, auntie, every party. But I do want to talk to Mohbad's father at this point because I'm doing this docuseries and documentary. There are factual things that need to be told. Like, Last night I checked my DM. I reached out to so many magazines in America. I haven't reached out to Europe, but American hip hop magazines, some big hip hop magazines and music magazines in America have replied me and they said yes. Okay, I'm really happy. Okay, I can't tell you who they are, but I like, please, I have a story that I need to write as an opinion journalist that's retired. A story that needs to be known. You guys know about this story when it happened, but here's the outcome. No cause of death, toxicology tests sent to America. It's a lot the world has to know about mohbad. And I just got the word yes. Can I send it to your email? Can I, So let's do it. Let's get mohbad story international because there's a lesson to be learned here. I said Mr. Loba should bury the child and, make it a private funeral, no rockers, no crowds, because when mohbad was buried initially, many of the people in the industry did not show up. They did not come to the funeral. Only like two people. I think it was Cute Abiola and Kugbagidi. I don't know who else, but it was all the main people that sponsored his show. None of them showed up. So at the end of the day, I do want to interview the father, and I'm going to write some opinions and some stories in some of the magazines. I'm going to try and reach some of the networks, news networks and all that. I can go on Skype, Zoom, but I feel that this story does not end here. There's an American angle, and I think Americans have to hear the fact that a toxicology test was brought to their country. This is a whole big cover-up. Everybody has a cause of death, all right? Everybody. There's a businessman in Nigeria, a very prominent businessman whose son died in America, and his son was a big tech business guy. And they never told us the cause of death, all right? It was a very, very sad death. They never told us the cause of death. And this really boils around journalism and privacy. When families demand privacy and they want to grieve in private, you don't need to ask them any questions, okay? A music artist in Nigeria lost his mother. And when I heard what killed this woman, oh God, even I cried. It was so tragic. The mother passed away, and the music artist has been affected since then. He had a nice big funeral for his mother to celebrate her life with his sisters and everyone, and it was a great send-off, but the aftermath of this woman's death was really sad. And the reason why her cause of death was not announced is because the family wanted privacy. So when it comes to privacy, we don't hear the cause of death. That's the only journalistic way to, to really explain that. That artist was Wizkid, okay? Wizkid's mother died in a very sad way, but I can't tell you. But I'm just trying to explain the whole journalistic issue to you here, that those are the only times where you don't need to know the cause of death. Let the family grieve in peace. But when we have people like mohbad, a high-profile death, toxicology test, autopsy, this, that, we have not been shown the autopsy. It has not been explained to the public. The pathologist explained the autopsy to the inquest judge. What about the external autopsy? What about his liver, kidney, everything? Okay, so he was in rigor mortis. Most of his organs had finished decomposing. At the end of the day, he was decomposed that bad that you may not be able to get toxicology results that are clear, primarily because there were so many drugs. It could be, there was Molly, which is, they said he used, mixed with the bitters that sponsored his show. That was in his system, but that would have gone out of his system in 48 hours. But then there was a whole cocktail of prescription drugs rigged into him for treating this and that. And somebody could have poisoned him along the way as well. So if you knew you couldn't give us the results of that toxicology test, okay, then you could have told us that, oh, we're sending it to America. But no, you said you sent it to America. 8 months, I think the Americans have to hear about it. And that's the reason why I want to put more attention on mohbad. Bear in mind, I'm not part of Justice for Mohbad, and mohbad did not like me as a person. Okay, I've always said this. He didn't take that picture with me, and I was quite upset to be taking pictures with everybody in Marley Music for my story. He didn't like me because of all the Davido stuff. Okay, Davido was rude to me. He was on Davido's side. He's one of those people that when they hear bad things about you, which is not true, they assimilate it, and he really didn't want to associate with me. Okay, but here I am. I'm not fighting for him. Okay, I'm not doing justice for Mohbad because I'm a journalist. I can't insert myself into the story. I'm not an activist in this story. What I am doing is I'm trying to solve who killed Mohbad and what killed Mohbad. This is part of my job. Okay, it might have a thin line with that whole fighting for Mohbad, justice for Mohbad, but at the end of the day, everybody has a cause of death. So if you know Joseph Aloba's information, send it to me and let him know that I'm trying to reach him to interview him. There are questions I have for him, and I want to do that interview. And I want the whole of Nigeria to see that interview. I want to do it on Facebook Live, preferably Facebook Live. People cannot sit down there and be watching this nonsense going on. There are powerful people in Nigeria that stop things from being done. There's a powerful monarch, a king in Lagos, and a very, very powerful politician in Abuja who are sponsoring Wumi, who are behind this, okay? And let me just say this, okay? Please don't bring that king of Elegushi kingdom into my story, because my story has nothing to do with Elegushi. It's another king altogether. You don't know how powerful some of these monarchs are, but it's not Elegushi. Elegushi is not even in my story. That's the Elegushi kingdom. Sekina's husband, they're not in my story. I don't want any rumors. I don't want any bullshit. I want to know about the external autopsy. I want to know about the laceration on his neck. I want to know everything the pathology found. And I understand the pathology was giving that information to the courts, but it really is for the people. And then I told you that this is going to end up the same way, you know, that they planned. I told you clearly that Falana banned journalists from the inquest so that they can cover up. So I'm going to start writing articles this weekend, and I'll tell you more. Please let me know if you know Mohbad's dad. I need to interview him. Thanks, guys.